In today's video, I'm going to break down the top 6 pro tips you need to use to win more games in College Football 25. So let's start with our first tip, which is how to disguise all your defensive coverages using the new shell feature. Now, when you're at the play call screen, about to pick a play where you have your 3 choices, like here we have cover 3 lock, edge blitz 1, double bracket, etc., you'll see that underneath here we have a few commands. One of them is right stick shell default with the right stick and picture of the icon, right? Well, when you see shell default, that basically means that it's going to show whatever shell you pick. So if you come out of cover 3, your defense is going to look like cover 3. But if you come out in a cover 0, it's going to look like cover 0. So just to show you an example of this, I'm going to come out in a cover 0 blitz, right? Now let's see what this looks like. So we come out in the cover 0 blitz, and you can pretty much tell this is a cover 0 blitz because all the defenders are immediately lined up over their receiver they're guarding. But further, they're backed up. They're not pressing, they're backed up. It kind of indicates pretty obviously cover 0 blitz, right? Whereas if you take a different approach, what if we come out in, say, a cover 4? Well, let's come out in cover 4 and see if we notice a difference here. So now you guys can see with cover 4, both of the safeties are back pretty far, and then the corners are no longer directly lined up over the receivers. They're giving more of a zone look. So there's obviously some tells. So a smart offensive player can pick up on this. What if we want to disguise this on defense so they can't pick up? That's when we use the shell feature. So again, at the play call screen, you'll see shell default. But if we flick the right analog stick to the left or the right, you'll see we have options. We can put it cover 0, 2-man, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, etc., cover 6 even. Different formations and different options for the shells you can use. So what if I want to disguise everything as cover 0? Remember how it looked when you came out of a cover 0 blitz, like here's DB blitz. You guys can see this is what a cover 0 blitz looks like, okay? What if we want to disguise everything to look like that so they don't know if we're running cover 0 or whatever? Let's do that. So let's go right back to let's go cover 2, but with our shell on cover 0. Let's see how this looks. So you guys can see here, all the defenders are lined up, in a cover 0 look. The only difference is this guy is over here versus over here. And that's just honestly because this formation has 4 people basically on one side. That's why that cover 0 did that. Cover 0 doesn't always do that, but this formation is a little bit rare. So there is still one very small difference. Most players won't pick up on it, but there is a small difference. You'll notice that if we were in like a more standard offensive formation, like maybe just like some sort of spread or bunch or, trips, just something to where it's not as drastic of a, 4 on one side type situation, you'll see this is exactly the same. Like this looks exactly like a cover 0 would look. It was just the other formation was a bit unique, and that's why one of the defenders was slightly off. But as you guys can see here, this is exactly how cover 0 would look. This is cover 2. But if I actually come out and cover 4, cover 3, cover 0, same thing. So let me just do cover 0 one more time. And you guys see, looks exactly the same, which will allow you to disguise your defense. Which brings me into the next tip, which is how to use custom route stems. So you guys can see, when you have your hot route menu up, L1 says custom stem. If you're on Xbox, that'd be LB. What that is that essentially lets you change the depth of a route. So let's say that we have a corner route, but we want to change the depth it runs or the distance it runs. We can make it run shorter or longer. I personally really like using custom stems on corners and posts. Those are 2 of my favorites. But technically, you can use it on mini routes. Pretty much if a route can be smart routed, you can custom stem it. So the way to do this is hit the hot route button, triangle or Y, the receiver's icon you wish to custom stem. For me, this can be circle. And then once this menu pops up, the button for custom stem. Now, you need to hold down the button for custom stem. For me, that's L1 while you do this. You don't tap it, you hold it down. So you guys can see I'm literally holding it down. And if I want to make this corner out longer, I flick up, keep flicking up on the left stick. If I want to make it shorter, I flick it all the way down. And you can see it makes it 0 yards. Now, 0-yard corners are actually like glitched. They are glitched. They pretty much beat every coverage in the game because they get underneath deep zones. They get over flat zones especially when you have like a streak and a flat with it. And they can even beat man. So if you guys can just see what I'm talking about here, like you just lead this to the sideline. That's a dot, boy. That's a dot. Next, I want to break down how to do specific formation, subs, and packages. A lot of people don't realize you can actually do subs at the play call screen by formation with your packages, and you can do more than just use your depth chart. Like, a lot of people think the only way to do subs is using your depth chart. That's not true. So guys, to do this, if you go to your play call screen and you click on the formation or highlight the formation you want to run, like for instance here, the dime 2, 3, 6 odd, the dime 2, 3 odd, before you actually hit X or A to select a play, to go through your play call selection, you stay on the main menu to where it's just highlighted. Now, if you guys look underneath, you'll see that there's the button for substitution. That's either triangle or Y. If you click this, you guys can see now, your specific players as you scroll through them using the D-pad, they highlight. So say we want to highlight 21, we want to take 21 out. We can easily just highlight 21, and I'm going to sub them out. So you can do this with any player in the formation, by the way, it does not matter. Additionally, you'll see there's packages. So you get substitution, and it says like random dime, random play, finally packages. So if you flick the right analog stick to the left or the right, you'll see different packages. For instance, outside linebacker swap, or middle linebacker, left outside linebacker swap. There's quite a few for different formations. Some have more than others, some have different ones. Now these can be ideal because some of these packages allow you to do different things. Simply subs won't let you. For example, there's packages that you can actually use to get outside linebackers or linebackers in general at the D tackle spot, which is something you generally can't do. So this is definitely something you guys should get familiar with, because you're going to be able to customize the personnel on your field by formation, not just through your depth chart. I'll talk about setting zone drops. So zone drops are available through your coaching adjustments, and the coaching adjustments are accessible from the same area we were just in to make our subs and packages. So again, you want to basically be on the main menu for your defense. You want to highlight a defensive formation, but you don't actually want to go into it. Then you're going to click in the right analog stick. So you just press in the right analog stick, brings up coaching adjustments. So if you scroll down, you'll see zone drops for flats, curl flats, and hooks. So you can essentially set the proper depth or the exact depth you want each zone to play at. Say someone's hitting you with a certain route that's killing you, no default defense is beating it. You set your zone drop to put those zones in the exact area the route is to stop it. So for flats, we can set them from 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, 0, etc. Same thing with curl flats and hooks. Basically, if you zone drop your hooks, any of your yellow zones, the hook zones will be affected by that. If you zone drop your curl flats, any of the purple zones, the curl flats will be affected by it. You zone drop your flats, any of the blue zones, the flat zones will be affected by it. So this is very effective. And for many things, one of my favorite ways to utilize this is defending corner routes. Corner routes, man. Corner routes are really, really good every year. And they can be really annoying, especially when you have a corner streak flat with a deep corner. Well, you guys can see, I put my curl flat zone drop to 30 yards. In a situation like this is perfect because then, I can put my defender next to him in a hard flat. So now I'm going to have a 30-yard curl flat, a 5-yard hard flat to defend this route combo. Again, this is customizable, but you can change it to whatever you want. For me, I right now have curl flats on 30 because I think that is one of the best ways to defend corners. Because in my opinion this year, flat zones, actual blue flat zones, don't do a great job at stopping corners. I actually feel like the curl flats do a better job, which is crazy because normally I feel the exact opposite. But let's just take a look here. Watch how this defends this perfectly. As you guys can see, there's nothing open. We try to throw this, we're throwing it right into that zone drop for a pick. So this is very good because now if a certain route's killing us, just use your zone drops. You're going to be good to go. Next, I want to break down the best passing settings to use. You'll notice that there's a lot of different passing settings and it may feel overwhelming because you don't know which ones to use, right? So what you're going to need to do is go into your settings and your game options and go to the passing mechanics section. Now I'm going to show you guys what I use and I'm going to explain why. So for passing type, I use placement and accuracy. The reason for this is the best one to give you full control over how far you can lead pass, but also the accuracy. There's certain ones that the lead passing just isn't that good on, such as classic. And then there's certain ones where you can lead pass great, like placement, but you have no control over the accuracy. So like you could get random bad passes depending upon their ratings, which we don't want. So placement and accuracy, definitely use that. That's what's also in Madden. So if you play both, good to use it on the same on both. just turn passing slowdown off. You don't want, like, that's not even usable. Now, for pass lead increase, this basically lets you control how far of a max distance you actually have to lead pass. I play on small. Now, there's also medium, large, and none. None, there'd be literally no limit. Obviously, large, there's less of a limit, medium less than small, and small you have the smallest amount you can work with. I'm going to tell you guys, small is more than enough on this game. Yeah, small is fine. You don't need any more than small. You know, it's the truth. Promise you. They lied. No, but for real, small is enough. If you start going medium, large, and none, you have more room from air. You can definitely mess up. Small, it's a lot easier to consistently get good pass leads, and you don't need any more than small gives you. I promise you, you really don't. Now, for the reticle speed, it's basically the speed at which the placement reticle will move. The higher you have it, the faster it's going to move. The lower you have it, the lower it's going to move. I have it at 11. It's a good medium balance for me.